I'm so sorry. My sister-in-law's text blazed across my phone screen at 6:47 a.m. on my wedding day, followed by a string of crying emojis and medical terms. Emergency C-section scheduled for today. Baby's in distress. We can't make it to your wedding. But when I called Riverside General to send flowers, the hospital where she claimed to be having major surgery, the admissions desk delivered news that made my blood run cold. I'm sorry, ma'am. We have no patient by that name scheduled for any procedure today. Why would someone fake a medical emergency to skip a wedding they'd RSVP'd to 4 months ago? My name is Violet Reeves, and I'm about to tell you how my sister-in-law's fake pregnancy complications exposed a web of lies that nearly destroyed 2 families. Let me start by saying I never wanted a big wedding. After 10 years together, Thomas and I would have been happy with a courthouse ceremony and dinner at our favorite Thai place. But families have expectations, and somehow our intimate gathering of 30 became a 150-person event with color-coordinated everything and a price tag that made my accountant soul weep. My sister-in-law, Natalie, had been a thorn in my side since the day Thomas introduced us. She was his older brother Rick's wife, the kind of woman who made everything a competition. When we announced our engagement, she announced she was trying for baby number 3. When I showed her my simple solitaire ring, she suddenly needed her wedding band upgraded with more diamonds. When we set our date, she pouted that it was too close to her youngest birthday, which was 6 weeks away. She's just insecure, Thomas always said. Rick says she's been weird since the miscarriage. I tried to be understanding. Losing a pregnancy changes people, but Natalie's behavior went beyond grief into something darker. She dominated every family event with dramatics. From mysterious illnesses that required all attention to sudden financial crises that made everyone else's problems seem petty. The pregnancy announcement had come at my bridal shower naturally. I wasn't going to say anything today, Natalie had said, standing up during gift opening. But I can't keep it secret anymore. We're pregnant. My shower became her pregnancy announcement party. My elderly aunts cooed over her still flat stomach, while my gifts sat unopened. She spent the rest of the event describing her symptoms in graphic detail and lamenting how hard it would be to find a dress for my wedding now that she'd be huge. That was 3 months ago. Since then, every wedding planning conversation somehow became about Natalie's pregnancy. Could the ceremony be shorter? She'd need to pee frequently. Could we change the menu? Certain smells made her nauseous. Could her other children be in the wedding party? She'd need them close. I'd accommodated everything, even moving the ceremony time because she claimed morning sickness was worse in the afternoon. Thomas's family praised me for being so understanding. I bit my tongue and focused on the fact that in 24 hours, I'd be married to the man I loved, and Natalie would just be another guest. Then came the 6:47 a.m. text. I stared at my phone, wedding dress hanging behind me, hair in rollers, and felt rage building. But also, doubt. The timing was too convenient. The drama too perfectly orchestrated. What's wrong? My maid of honor, Jessica, noticed my expression. I showed her the text. Jessica, who'd suffered through years of Natalie's stories, immediately saw through it. Call the hospital, she said. Verify before you react. So I did. I called Riverside General, where Natalie had claimed to have all her prenatal care. The conversation was brief but illuminating. I'm trying to send flowers to my sister-in-law, Natalie Morrison. She's having an emergency C-section today. Let me check. I'm sorry, we have no patient by that name scheduled for any procedures today. Are you sure you have the right hospital? My hands were steady as I typed back to Natalie. Which hospital? I'll send flowers and have the family pray for you both. Radio silence. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. My phone rang. Rick. Violet. I'm so sorry about this, he started, sounding genuinely distressed. Natalie's really upset about missing your wedding. Which hospital is she at? I asked innocently. Thomas and I want to send something. Oh, actually, It's a birthing center, not a hospital. Very exclusive. They don't allow flowers, or visitors, or phone calls. Rick, is Natalie actually pregnant? The silence stretched so long, I thought we disconnected. Why would you ask that? His voice was hollow. Because Riverside General has no record of her. Because she's never shown me an ultrasound photo. Because in 3 months, she hasn't gained any weight. Because. Stop. His voice cracked. Just stop. We'll be at your wedding. He hung up. 15 minutes later, Natalie texted. Actually, false alarm. Doctor says we're good. See you at the ceremony. I showed the text to Jessica, who was now doing my makeup. She paused with the eyeliner. She's not pregnant, is she? I don't think she ever was. The revelation should have ruined my morning. Instead, I felt oddly liberated. No more pretending. No more accommodating lies. No more letting Natalie's fiction dominate reality. What are you going to do? Jessica asked. Get married, I said simply, and let her hang herself with her own rope. The ceremony was perfect. Thomas cried when he saw me walk down the aisle. My father's speech about patience and partnership brought tears to everyone's eyes, and in the third row, Natalie sat in a flowing dress strategically held away from her body, occasionally touching her flat stomach with studied maternal grace. During the cocktail hour, she held court near the bar, regaling my cousins with tales of her morning scare. The doctors said it was Braxton Hicks, she explained to my Aunt Margaret. But so severe they almost operated. Thank goodness little miracle baby calmed down. I watched from across the room as Thomas's relatives fawned over her, offering chairs, bringing her water, treating her like spun glass. Rick stood beside her, smile fixed, eyes dead. The breaking point came during dinner. Natalie had been drinking sparkling cider all evening at least. That's what she claimed the champagne in her glass was. By toast time, she was tipsy enough to drop her guard. My father had just finished his toast when Natalie stood, swaying slightly. I want to say something, she announced. The room quieted. Violet, you're like the sister I never had. And I'm so happy I could be here today, even though I should be on bed rest. Nat, Rick tried to pull her down. She shook him off. No, they should know what I sacrificed. The doctor said flying here could trigger early labor. But I came anyway, because that's what family does. Flying? Thomas's cousin Emma looked confused. But you live 40 minutes away. Natalie blinked. I meant driving. Driving can trigger when you're as far along as. How far along are you exactly? I asked, my voice carrying across the suddenly silent room. Every head turned to me. The bride wasn't supposed to interrogate guests during her reception, but I was done playing along. Violet, Thomas warned quietly. No, it's fine, Natalie said, chin lifting. I'm 6 months, due in January. Interesting, I said. Because 3 months ago at my bridal shower, you announced you were newly pregnant. That would make you 4 months maximum. The room was so quiet you could hear the catering staff in the kitchen. I meant, Natalie stammered. And at Thanksgiving, you were drinking wine. A lot of wine. Rick said it was because you were dealing with the October miscarriage. The October miscarriage of a pregnancy you announced in September. Which would mean you got pregnant again immediately after losing a baby. Announced it publicly at my shower before even missing a period, and are somehow simultaneously 4 and 6 months along. Violet, please, Rick said quietly. Not here. You're right. I agreed. This isn't the place. Natalie, I hope you get the help you need. But you're not pregnant. You've been lying to everyone, using a fake pregnancy to manipulate this entire family, and you tried to skip my wedding with a medical emergency that never existed. Natalie's face crumpled, then hardened, then crumpled again. You don't understand, she whispered. You have everything. The perfect job, the perfect man, the perfect wedding. I needed. To be special, Rick finished tiredly. To be the center of attention. I know, Nat. We all know. The revelation hung in the air like smoke. Thomas's mother gasped. His aunts exchanged knowing looks. Suddenly, years of convenient illnesses and dramatic announcements made sense. Natalie ran from the room, Rick following. The silence stretched until my DJ, bless him, smoothly started the father-daughter dance music. Well, my father said, offering me his hand. That was interesting timing, sweetheart. I'm sorry, I said as we moved onto the dance floor. I shouldn't have. Nonsense. You called out a lie that's been poisoning this family for years. That takes courage. I'm proud of you. The rest of the reception continued without the Morrisons. People danced, laughed, and carefully avoided mentioning the elephant that had stormed out of the room. Thomas and I had our first dance to At Last by Etta James, and he whispered, I'm sorry about Natalie. Don't be, I whispered back. We're starting our marriage with truth. That's worth any awkwardness. The next morning, as Thomas and I prepared to leave for our honeymoon, Rick called. I owe you an apology, he said without preamble, and an explanation. You don't owe me anything, I said. No, I do. Natalie. She's sick, Violet. Not physically. Mentally. The first pregnancy was real. We lost it at 10 weeks. But she couldn't accept it. She kept pretending, buying baby clothes, setting up a nursery. I thought if I played along, she'd eventually snap out of it. But she didn't. She got worse. Fake pregnancies, fake illnesses, fake emergencies. Always when someone else had something special happening. Birthdays, graduations, weddings. She couldn't stand not being the focus. Rick, she needs professional help. I know. I've been in denial, enabling her. Your wedding. What you did. It was the wake-up call I needed. I'm taking her to a psychiatric facility today. Voluntary admission. She agreed to it last night. I felt my anger deflating into pity. I hope she gets better. Me too. And Violet? Congratulations on your marriage. You deserve every happiness. Thomas and I went to Santorini for 2 weeks. We swam the Aegean, ate too much feta, and didn't check social media once. When we returned, we found out Natalie had been diagnosed with a combination of disorders including Munchausen syndrome and histrionic personality disorder. She was in intensive therapy, Rick was in counseling to deal with his enabling, and Thomas's family was slowly processing years of manipulation. She used our sympathy as a weapon. Thomas's mother told me at our welcome home dinner. Every family event, every celebration, turned into the Natalie show. We all knew something was off, but nobody wanted to be the one to say it. I probably could have handled it better, I admitted. No, she said firmly. You handled it perfectly. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is refuse to participate in their delusions. 6 months later, Natalie sent me a letter. A real, handwritten apology. She was still in treatment, still working through why she felt the need to create medical dramas for attention. She said my wedding was rock bottom. Being exposed in front of everyone forced her to confront the lies she'd been telling herself. I wanted to be special, she wrote, but I was going about it all wrong. I'm learning that being special doesn't mean being sick or dramatic or the center of attention. It means being genuine. Thank you for forcing me to see that. I keep the letter in my desk drawer. Not as a trophy, but as a reminder that sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Thomas and I just celebrated our first anniversary. We had a small dinner party, no drama, no medical emergencies, no surprise announcements. Natalie and Rick were there, quiet but present. She's different now. Calmer, more self-aware. The constant need for attention has dimmed to something manageable. Thank you, she said quietly as they were leaving, for not letting me ruin your day, and for not letting me keep ruining my life. As I cleaned up after the party, I thought about that morning a year ago, hair in rollers, wedding dress waiting, staring at a text about a fake emergency. I could have let it go, played along, avoided confrontation. But some lies are too big to ignore, especially when they're hurting everyone involved. My wedding day included an exposed fake pregnancy, a public confrontation, and a sister-in-law's breakdown. It was messy and uncomfortable, and absolutely not what I planned. It was also the day I learned that sometimes love means calling out the lies, even in white dresses and wedding venues. That marriage starts with truth, even when it's inconvenient, and that the best gift you can give someone might just be refusing to enable their worst impulses, even if you have to do it in front of 150 guests.